What's up guys, Phantom here, back with episode 40 of my F1 2019 career mode as we're going to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix for round 18 of season 2.
Welcome back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a circuit that has a huge amount of history, and I'm sure we'll be staging a fantastic qualifying session today. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Ferme regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both a qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias, and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
As we start out here in Q2 after making it easily through Q1 as we go through the baseball section here to get on the front stretch to start our flying lap, which this front stretch is one of the longest on the F1 calendar, probably second to Azerbaijan in terms of length, as we come through probably one of the two only stadium sections on the F1 calendar, the other one being Germany, which this one is baseball, as we come across the line to be P8. So as we move on to Q3, we will pick up with about 45 seconds left here, as we have not set our a pace lap here, as this will be our only lap here of qualifying. So if we mess it up, we will end up being P10, maybe P9, P8 because of penalties, but won't be a very good qualifying performance if we mess up, as so far through the stadium section here we have done pretty well. As we come out, try to not go too wide there, and then stay as close to the wall as possible. We are going to end up being P2 as our teammate Butler's P4, but Hamilton will be on pole position for the Mexican Grand Prix.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City. The atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. 17 corners then at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 10 to the right and 7 to the left, and all of them will have to be tackled in difficult, wet conditions here today. No DRS assistance either, at least not for the start of the race, but the best overtaking opportunities will still be down into turn 1 or shortly afterwards into turn 4. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and a Haas alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Butler, Lucas Faber and Bottas, Leclerc, Raikkonen, Russell and Sergio Perez, Norris, Sainz, Daniel Kvyat and Stroll, Magnussen, Albon, Sebastian Vettel and Antonio Giovinazzi. Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P2 after yesterday's qualifying performance, as it is in the full wet here, as we brought the intermediates, and we get a really slow start there as we were messing with our throttle application, and we kind of got caught with our pants down as we were all the way down the 5th, as our teammate Butler's gone past us, but we're going to dive down the inside of him as he's going to have the inside line, but we're able to hang it around the outside, which turns to the left-hander for turn 3, as we are able to recover back to 3rd place after being behind Weber and Butler. As we move on to lap 4 here, we are behind Verstappen as we were last year. Last year we went up the inside as we look there, but we're going to go and think better of it as we get a lot of traction here around the outside, which turns to the inside of this right-hander. So once again, we have gotten past Verstappen again, as Lando Norris is out of the race here, as it looks like he just kind of has a mechanical failure there, as he was racing not for points. I think he was like 11th or 12th or something like that, as Red Bull has had a pretty shocking end of the season so far, as they have not done very well, as we will have the fastest lap here on lap 6 as we are chasing down Hamilton. As we move on to lap 8 here, we are going to get pretty close to him into turn 1, as we are going to try to set him up for this short backstretch here, as there is no DRS to aid us, so we'll have to do it all by slipstream here, as we're going to look inside, but he blocks that off, as if we can do the same move as we get initial better turn in, which turns into even better traction for us, as we had to shift down into 1st gear to make the corner and not run him out of space like we did Verstappen.
But it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
As the circuit is drying here now on lap 11, it's gotten pretty dried out here, as our teammate Butler is coming into the pit, but it is still a little bit too wet. We are a couple laps away still. You can still easily run on the intermediates, but as we move on to lap 13, we are let's just say over the cliff, as we have gotten a changed strategy from our team, as we were going to take it on for dear life, as I was going to go in at the end of this lap anyways here, as Hamilton crucially will not go in at the end of this lap. He's going to go for another lap, which I think will cost him, as I was struggling just to keep it on that lap here, as it looks like McLaren, and it looks like Weber's going to come in this lap too, as he could possibly jump Hamilton, as Hamilton for some reason just didn't come in. Like, there's just no reason not to. It's, as you see here, like the track, it was a little bit slippy, but like it was almost like all the grip had washed away from the rain. But like, as you look there, we have Purple's second and third sectors there, and we are miles ahead, and Weber will even manage to jump him here. As we come on the lap 15, we will set the fastest lap of the race here, but apparently we do not have very good pace, as everybody will lap faster than us here, as you see, as we are the first car. As we come on to lap 17 here, we will set another fastest lap here, 1:17.2, but Hamilton, who is 1.5 seconds quicker than us, is 3.5 seconds, as at the end of the race here, Giovinazzi has blown up, but in a matter of about 3 or 4 laps, Hamilton has clawed from about 4.5-5 seconds back to 1.5 seconds back, but he will run out of time, as we will win for the first time since Canada.
Superb driving. That's the race win.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for the Haas team. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
There aren't many teams, you know, as they come out onto the podium now, who could do what Haas have managed to accomplish here. It's hard to believe just how competitive they've already become. An amazing victory. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Another solid result for our championship leader today, allowing them to extend the gap between themselves and the rest of the standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to say Sebastian Vettel certainly caught my eye during today's race. Incredible driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.